to the Healthy Home Show. I'm your host, Fernanda Furman, Healthy Home Architect.
I'm Eric Furman, Healthy Home Contractor.
And today we are so happy to have Rowena Finegan here with us. And she's going to talk about healthier interior design. So thank you so much, Rowena, and welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me on the show. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to help people understand a bit more about why they should be more careful about what they're buying and why they should spend more on the items but have less of them. And yes, I'm looking forward to chatting.
That's great.
Thank you. So we're going to start by reading your biography, and then we're going to dive into the questions because I'm sure the listeners are going to be very, very interested in learning from you and all the things they can do to make their home beautiful yet healthier.
Exactly. So, that's it. Yes.
Rowena, originally, she's from Brighton, England, and she has been specializing in healthy home interior design for the past 16 years. In 2004, she collaborated with the owner of a furniture manufacturing company in Los Angeles to create a fully upholstered, healthy furniture line, utilizing natural, non-toxic, and sustainable materials. The furniture is sold along with many other healthy home furnishings at Pine Street Natural Interiors. Rowena earned a certification as a building biology environmental consultant, BBEC, where she learned about the use of healthy building principles in homes and also how to identify elements in the home that might be dangerous, such as mold and volatile organic compounds, known as VOCs, that are released from such materials as carpet and plastics. Currently, Rowena uses the principles of biology in her work as owner and interior designer in the boutique studio in Sausalito, California. Wow, that's very interesting how you came all the way from Britain and you're here today and you created your own line of furniture and you have your own store with your own line of healthy furniture. So I guess the first question we would have for you is why and how you got into the business of building a healthy home here.
Well, I moved straight from England to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and then everyone knows that that is one of the coldest places in this country, and I moved there for skiing. And my husband and I at the time were lucky enough to be able to build our own home. So we, of course, because of the, 40 below zero sometimes, the temperature got to, we made a really nice tight home. We made it really tight. We, you were all cozy when you were inside and you wrap up warm when you went outside, unbeknown to us. And we proceeded to use a finish on the floor, on the wood floor that had actually been banned in this country. But we didn't think about why it was banned. I mean, we just didn't think. So we did that. So we spent the next couple of years breathing in this air, not understanding. Simultaneously, I moved my store to a brand new building where there was vinyl carpet, vinyl paint on the walls. I was selling fabric, and every time I unrolled the fabric, I was throwing formaldehyde into the air and fire retardants. I had no idea. So I didn't have respite. When I left home in the morning and went to work, there I was bombarded again. And I would get very foggy. My brain got foggy. I'd sit and cry in the morning, wondering what was wrong with me. I couldn't understand what was going on. It was just awful. But we didn't know about things called environmental illness at the time. We didn't know about it. I just thought I was a moody person and I was stuck with it. Anyway, I continued with my business for a few years and a lot of very, very nice clients there. And I had a retail store as well. So I helped 4-H people and all the children. I gave classes and we made wedding dresses and we did made stuff for the home. And after a while, I thought, I love what I'm doing. It's a good business, but it's not meaningful. There's something wrong. There's something missing. So I literally threw away my portfolio in the bin. And in those days, we didn't have digital photographs. It was all, so threw them away. And then I was looking at a magazine one day, and on the back, there was a very small advertisement about this Biology. And I thought, I wonder what that is. So I called them, and that was it. I got stuck. I got hooked in by this fellow, Helmut, who wouldn't let me go. And I signed up. And I went along and learned all about it. It took a whole year. In those days, it was correspondence courses. They were trying to get it online, but they had to translate it all from German. So it took a long time. Anyway, so I did this correspondence course with 3 seminars during the year. And I learned all about indoor air quality and electromagnetic fields and radiation and all those things, which now we get from smart meters and all the rest of it, cell phones, all that stuff. And I realized that my job in life was to go back into interior design, but specializing in healthy homes. So that's how it came about. But then, so the next thing I had to do was to start looking around for products, because what I wanted to do was offer everything. I mean, Eric knows, well, you both know because you're architects and builders, working with a designer. The designer offers all the furnishings. So you need to have healthy versions of everything that you sell in the home. Well, of course, needless to say, there was nothing around at the time. So I started hunting around. I would go to High Point Furniture Market, and they looked at me as if I had 2 heads, or they got very defensive and didn't want to tell me where they got the product or what was in it, or because they didn't know. They didn't know about this. Anyway, eventually, so I said to myself, well, this is no good. The first thing I have to do is to at least have a furniture line. So I went, while I was at High Point, I went along to the showroom of the company where I'd been buying all my soft furniture for a decade before. And I asked him, I said, would you be interested in doing a healthy line of furniture? And he said, funnily enough, I've been thinking about this, and yes, I would. So he consulted me. Then it took us probably a year. I did all the research into all the materials, and I had, of course, the help of my biology colleagues. And here's a little sidebar here. I found when I was doing this biology, I found the people so gentle and kind and sweet and generous, wanting to share their knowledge instead of the usual field that we're in, where everyone's, I'm not telling anyone, a bit competitive. Very, very kind, gentle people, very nice. So that was encouraging. Anyway, so he said yes, and we developed this line of furniture. And then using the information I got from that, already there were mattresses being made, organic mattresses were being made. So I used some of the information from how organic mattresses are made and to help with developing this line of furniture. So that's how it came about. And all the other products. I started educating the manufacturers. I said, well, would you mind using non-toxic glues and finishes? If instead of your usual stuff, would you think about using this one that I'm recommending? That sort of thing started to happen.
As you searched for these products and introduced them, one of the challenges we've seen from our side when you talk about things like caulking and glues, luckily they're advancing in their longevity, but when you're talking about furnishings like bedding and drapery, what makes it different, and will it last as long? Will it need special handling? Or let's talk about for a mattress, for example. What makes an organic mattress different, and what would be the differences between something you would just buy?
Yes.
Or
all right, an organic mattress First of all, the ones we sell, and we sell two different companies. One is a very extreme, very special one, and there are only two of us in the company that sell it. That sell it, and it's a very great product, but it's essentially the same. The cushy part, we don't use springs because in biobiology you learn about stray electromagnetic fields, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. When you're lying in bed and you have springs in the bed and springs in the box spring, if the house hasn't been properly wired, if you've got knob and tube wiring still, for example, or it wasn't properly wired, the stray electromagnetic fields are going to be coming through the air, trying to find the shortest route to the ground, and so they come through your body into the springs and down through the springs. So it disrupts your levels of electrodes or electromagnetic fields within your body. So first of all, it's not good for your health. Secondly, it disrupts your sleep and all that sort of thing. So an organic mattress has organic latex foam. If you just use the term latex foam, that's no good, because in the old days, latex companies who were making latex foam would put chemicals into the foam to help it set. Now, organic latex foam certified, which is GOLS, G-O-L-S, certified latex foam, has absolutely no chemicals in there to help it set. So we have organic latex foam, no springs, and we have a wool wrap. And then, of course, the wool has to be either certified organic or it has to be clean wool. You have to make sure that your the people you purchase the wool from are going about it in the right way, which means the sheep have to be grazing on fields that don't have pesticides and herbicides on them. The sheep can't go through sheep dip because that's full of all sorts of horrible chemicals. The sheep process, the processing of the wool can't include any chemicals. And of course, not only are we concerned about our own health, we're concerned about the welfare of the animals that we're working with as well. There's a thing called mulesing, where when the sheep are being sheared, they're too rough with the sheep. First of all, they handle them badly and kick them around, can do. But secondly, when they're shearing the sheep, they go so deep to get all the wool that then they cause wounds on the animals' bodies, and they don't care. That's called mulesing. So we're very careful about where the wool comes from, that it's humane. So that's that part. Then you have organic cotton covering the wool. The latex comes first, then the wool wrap, and then the organic cotton. And it has to be organic cotton because the amount of pesticides and chemicals that go into the production of cotton it's one of the worst products that we use in the world. Organic cotton, non-organic cotton, conventional cotton. So it's no good someone saying, here's another little sideline, oh, and it's all cotton. They've gone out, they've bought their pajamas, they've bought their sheets, they're all cotton, 100% cotton. Well, good for you. But no, still covered in all sorts of chemicals and produced with all sorts of chemicals, not to mention the amount of water it takes to do the production. Mm-hmm. So all these different things that come into it.
So you've got, my brain is just going in a million different directions. So that's just the bed.
That's just the mattress. Oh, and one more thing about the mattress. One question you asked that I haven't answered yet. Does it last longer or does it wear out more quickly? Conventional foam breaks down much more quickly than organic latex foam. Latex foam lasts, the companies all offer, any good company, mattress company, offers a 20-year warranty. Well, that means that they're not going to offer a warranty that breaks down just, at the time. It means that the latex actually probably lasts a lot longer than 20 years. So you can go to your sofa or your chairs. Is it going to last as long as my conventional sofa? It'll last a lot longer than your conventional sofa. So
that's great. So to stay on the topic of the bed, my next thought is, okay, my head is going into the pillow, and then the type of pillowcase, the sheets, all of the bedding. So you have a lot of experience in that as well. So what are some helpful tips for that part of it as well?
Which is interesting because I bought some pillows that are said, and that's what I really, I tell people, be careful with marketing, because when I bought my pillows, they had this, it's 100% bamboo. Well, what was 100% bamboo was just the cover, not what's inside, not the filling that was inside. So the cover was 100% organic bamboo, which is also sometimes the way they make it, it could be bad as well. But the marketing was done in a way that makes you believe you're buying something that's good.
Yes, it's very tricky. And this is the discussion that we want to have, which we can do later, but about greenwashing. It's so difficult for the consumer. And a lot of the time it's difficult for the manufacturer. They actually don't know that they're doing it wrong. I'm not saying they all don't know, but some of them don't know. So yes, you have to be very careful. But how does the consumer know to be watching out for that? How do they know that, they're only talking about the cover? You buy a throw pillow for your sofa. They're only talking about the cover. What about the insides? Mm-hmm. So yes. So where should we start? We'll start with we've had the mattress. So then we have a topper. And the toppers are often made of latex. They're often made of some sort of padding material. So I feel, in my experience and all the years I've been doing this and using these products myself, I really prefer organic wool to anything for your topper, for your pillows. You can't have organic wool sheets, so we're not talking about organic wool sheets. So the topper, I would say organic wool if you need a topper. Not everyone needs a topper, but maybe as we get older, we have, points on our bodies that ache and things like that. So we want to soften it a little bit. So I'd say organic wool there. The next best thing is organic latex, if someone prefers that feel, organic cotton. But wool, the nice thing about wool is not only does it regulate your temperature while you're sleeping, so you toss and turn less, it wicks moisture from the environment, which means your body, and we give off a huge amount of moisture when we're sleeping. It wicks that moisture away from your body, which, if you're sleeping on synthetics, you wake up in the middle of the night and in a pool of sweat and freezing cold and an achy back, because the moisture your body temperature has chilled down, the moisture is now glued to your body, and you've got an achy body. Whereas if you have wool, it wicks it away, throws it off into the environment I'll go to that in a minute. Keeps it away from your body so you don't end up with aches and pains. You sleep better. So there's the wool. And I was just going to say, in the bedroom or anywhere else in the house, wool is hygroscopic, so it takes on moisture in the environment. When there's too much, it takes it out of the environment. And when the environment's too dry, which causes static electricity and all that sort of thing, anything that's hygroscopic, like plaster, wool, wood that isn't glazed and covered in a hard finish, all these things let moisture back out into the environment, the home environment, which creates a much better atmosphere, much better living environment. So we've done the topper, the mattress pad. People say things like, oh, well, I've got an old parent or I've got a young child and they have accidents in the bed. Well, you can get a puddle pad that is felted wool, very tightly felted wool, and that goes a long way to solving the problem of mistakes happening. And, so I would say if you have an elderly parent or a child, I would have more layers rather than you cannot use PVC. It's very, very dangerous. You don't want to be using PVC or any plastic of any kind, because then the body can't breathe again. So there are some new breathable plastics made from corn that I believe are good. I haven't really looked into it that carefully, but some companies who sell healthy home products do offer these things. So then we've done all that. Let's do the sheets next. So sheets, I would say, they're all different types of sheets. Linen is great, but and linen, even if it's not organic linen is takes very little in the way of herbicides, pesticides, or anything like that to grow. It grows very well. Same with hemp. Hemp doesn't require all these things. They don't require too much water, so we're not using up all the water. But the best thing really is organic cotton for sleeping, or organic linen, and it can be a sateen, it can be a percale, it can be a knitted one. That's all personal preference. But organic cotton is great, and organic linen. Organic linen is more expensive than organic cotton. Any of them are going to be more expensive than the conventional things, but we just don't need to have so many things in our homes. We can just buy less and have a couple of really good sets of sheets. So organic cotton sheets. Let's see, where are we? Pillows. You can have buckwheat, but of course all these things have to come from a company that is aware of chemicals, because buckwheat can have chemicals in it as well. So it needs to be organic buckwheat, or buckwheat that's grown without toxic chemicals. The best one in my mind is wool. Again, I have a marvelous pillow it's a contour pillow. It's made of organic latex, and then it's covered in like a sleeping bag of wool. So it's got a layer of cotton on the underside. It's a bag of cotton, and inside that is wool, and that is a sheath that goes over the whole of the latex pillow. And so you can take this wool bag off and put it out in the sun and air it and then bring it back in. And then on top of that, you have a pillowcase. But wool pillows are great. Again, you don't toss and turn as much. Organic cotton pillowcase. You always want to have a pillow protector. Make sure that's organic cotton too. At least one. I don't know if you've ever noticed, I'm sure you have, how quickly pillows, the actual pillow itself, gets all watermarks on it. Puddles of sweat, Can't be helped. It's just, that's what humans are. So at least one pillow protector, if not two. And if you prefer feather and down, forget the idea of not washing it. Throw it in the washing machine regularly. And either dry it in very hot sun, which I believe is the best of all, or dry it in the dryer. So until it's really fluffy. Again, don't take it out when it's still even the slightest bit damp, because feathers and down will get dust mites and mold and that sort of thing. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, so then my next question is actually two questions in one. How long do we need, how often do we need to change our pillows? I heard somebody saying every 6 months you should throw all your pillows away and buy new ones. How often do we need to actually change our pillows?
Well, I don't think you need to change them that regularly, but you need to make sure that if it's wool, it needs to air in the sun. The Europeans been doing it forever. Put it out in very hot sun. And when I lived in Wyoming in the summer, it was absolutely amazing. With the wind and the sun, everything would be bone dry, really hot out there in the air. And if you haven't got a line to put them on, a washing line, then just make sure you turn them over so that both sides are aired. No, I don't think every 6 months at all. Okay. I think, when it starts to get soggy feeling and heavy, you know that it's got a lot of moisture and probably all sorts of horrible dust might. It's their skin and their droppings. It's not so much the dust mite itself. When you start to snuffle, when you're sleeping, I found this when I was using feather and down for my pillows. After a while, I find, I'm sneezing and snuffling. This is strange. That meant it was time for me to wash my pillow. So if you start sneezing and snuffling, first of all, I hope you've vacuumed under the bed. I hope you haven't got tons of stuff under your bed that collects, all the dust, and all the dust mites love it. They get in there with all that stuff. So you don't want tons of stuff under your bed. You want the air to be able to circulate. You need to vacuum regularly. And so once you start snuffling, it's time to think about what's going on under your bed or on your bed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Those are very helpful tips. And I'm assuming all of this is available in your store.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So
yes.
You mentioned it. Can we talk about greenwashing and what that means exactly? What is that term?
Yes. Greenwashing, I hate to say it, but some very large companies are clearly greenwashing, and they're clearly aware that they're greenwashing, but they've recognized that we're all buying a lot more organic food. We're buying much more healthy cars, or cars that are more healthy to the environment. So it stands to reason that, we better be telling them about healthy whatever it is they sell, or our organic. Well, if it's certified organic, we know things are fine, in general. But I've lost my train of thought.
Greenwashing, yeah. Why are they greenwashing? It's a marketing thing. I'm assuming.
It's a marketing. Greenwashing can be a marketing thing. It can be an absolute lack of education. They think they're doing it right, but they're not. I've spent all these years studying this, and this is all I do. I read books about it. I read magazines about it. You can't just say, this is what I want to offer, and then change the wording in your advertising. You have to have the knowledge. There are even designers who say that someone's looking for someone who wants to have a healthy home designed, and the designer will say, oh, I've got my LEED certification. Well, LEED certification, it's great. It's not necessarily healthy. It's great for the environment that we're recycling our polyester and our nylon and all that, but polyester and nylon in the first place are not healthy to have in the home. So that's a version of greenwashing that's done unconsciously. The person doesn't know. My advice is to find companies. For example, I buy my clothes from only I've got 3 companies who make clothes that I'm comfortable with. I feel that they really care. They're organic. It's organic clothing. They care about the animals. They care about the rainforests, all those things. So find companies that you're comfortable with and stick with them. And don't let your friends talk you out of it and say, well, you're paying twice as much. Maybe I am paying twice as much. But as time goes by, if more of us buy this stuff, the price will come down. So if you're not sure about a company, look them up online. See if you can do some research. If you know a good company like Pine Street, if you know a company you can go to and speak to, they will help you. We're always helping our customers with something else that they want to buy, something that's nothing to do with a home or a healthy home furnishings that we don't sell. We're happy to help them understand whether or not it's okay for them to buy it. And there are blogs as well online, and if people contact me, I can tell them about these blogs where they can get information on baby clothes and stuff like that.
That is such a good information, because even having too much stuff accumulates dust and it's hard to clean. And that's one of the things we have been doing, is like we have been getting rid of stuff. And
yes.
I love your concept of having less with better quality, and also thinking about the environment, because it's not just about us being healthy. It's about what are we leaving for our children? What kind of planet are they going to have? And 10 years from now, when we are doing all this, we're creating all of those problems for them to solve. And so from what I understood, greenwashing is a process. It's the process that they use to make things, clothes, cars, furniture. Is that correct?
Well, it's not a process that's used to make it. It's a way of presenting it to the general public that is hoodwinking them. It's pretending it's something that it isn't. Yes.
Go ahead. I was going to say, one analogy that comes to mind, and you might not know, was in Brazil at the time, but remember when the things here in America started coming, light butter or light this, that could actually mean light coloring. It could, the box was a lighter color. So in your mind, you're thinking, less calories. Yeah.
If it's natural, it doesn't mean anything. There are lots of natural things in the world, including, well, I don't know. Anyway, lots of them.
You got the point.
Doesn't mean it's organic and healthy. So you've got to be very careful. Another thing, made with organic, blah, blah. There might be a tiny speck of this organic stuff. So that's where you look at the list of ingredients and you see that's the top of the list. So it's not the process, it's the way it's presented to the public so that they think it's okay. And they honestly do. I'm shocked at how people, they honestly don't realize what they're putting in their homes. Stuff under their sink, their cleaning products.
Yeah. So touching, on that subject, that is so true, because I used to buy Dr. Meyer's products, right? And I thought, oh my gosh, I looked at their marketing, and it seems like it's very healthy, everything, no this, no that, all those no, and made with essential oils. So I was like, okay, perfect. So the smell comes from lavender, from essential oils. One day I decided to read the labels and the label behind, and it's made with essential oils, and it's right there on the label, very small on the back. And then it says, and synthetic fragrance.
Oh, yes.
So that was the last time I bought any products from that company. And even if they have some good products, because they are tricking people in one product, to me, that brand, it's a no brand. Like,
absolutely.
I would never buy from them.
That you can't trust them anymore. And this is the point. The public, I mean, people with multiple chemical sensitivities are quite ill. Some of them are severely ill. They've been struggling. They can't live in their home anymore. I mean, they go to a motel. They can't live there because I don't know many motels that are using organic everything. So these people are really struggling. Their defenses are down. They can't work half the time. They need people to hold their hands. They need to be able to trust people. I think it's shocking that large companies unknowingly pulling the wool over people's eyes. Excuse the pun.
No pun intended.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So talking about the bedroom and the importance of that and trying to rest and recover, I'm assuming you guys have drapery, which we try to make our homes so pretty. For me, one of the things that was irritating me is the material that the drapery right next to my head on that side of the bed, just like the pillows and the sheets, the drapery was also giving me a problem.
That's interesting. What were they made of?
Velvet?
The poly type of product, the wrinkle-free synthetics. And
Oh,
also
yes.
collecting the dust and the moisture. You brought up something
Yes.
really interesting. Part of having a healthy home is having healthy humidity levels. And that sounds amazing when you're talking about wool. It's naturally kind of balancing itself.
Yes. Well, in the home, so in the bedroom, and I'll get to the draperies in a minute, really, the bottom line is to have, here I am going to use the term, natural products. So, so that it will, anything that can take on moisture, when there's too much moisture in the indoor air, in the air, and then when you start, you know, when nylon carpets, you walk on nylon carpets and then you touch yourself and it goes and your hair goes, that's static electricity, and that's because there's not enough moisture in the air. So anyway, there's that part of it. Of course, sleeping with the windows open if you possibly can, unless you're right next to a golf course where they spray it with herbicides and insecticides. You don't want that. You don't take your animals to walk on the golf course either. So back to the bedroom and the window coverings. We are very, very fussy about this. People come to us all the time saying, I have to have blackout. I can't sleep if I haven't got a dark room. And this is quite a problem. There is no, actually, that's wrong. We have recently found a blackout fabric that you can buy by the yard and to use for the lining of your draperies. It can be the whole drapery, actually. There are two looks. One is a sort of satiny look and one is a sort of linen-y look. It's made in Switzerland. The drawback is it's very expensive. So that's no good for most of us. It's too expensive. We have a company where we buy all our, he is the only company in this country, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the world. He's been doing this for a long time. He makes the healthy version of blackout roller shades, blackout solar shades, not blackout solar shades, the healthy version of solar shades, privacy shades, the roller shades. So you need to make sure there's another company that sells Green Guard certified solar shades and blackout shades, but the level of the Green Guard certification isn't high enough. We've had people who have bought a whole house load of window shading and they proceed to live in the house and they can't live with this stuff and they have to get rid of it, and they come to us and they start all over again, and that is expensive. So that, I think, is an unconscious version of greenwashing. People think Green Guard certified, that's great, but it's not. So you can use hemp fabric for your, and when you, it's not burlap, it's not sacks, you know, it can look beautiful. You get hemp linen, it looks just like linen. It's absolutely lovely. It's not expensive. You can use linen draperies, but you can't buy them from just anywhere because linen might have a finish on it, cotton might have a finish on it. So you've got to find your trusted source again. You have to know where to buy these things. You can't just go online and say, oh, they sell panels of linen draperies in all different lengths. Oh, I need that length. I'm going to buy that. Then you go to sleep at night and you're wondering why you're feeling rotten. And it's because there's finish on it. So your fabrics need to be totally unfinished, you know, and then you've got to be very careful with the dyes. There are chemicals in the dyes unless it's the right type of dye. So once again, you need to know your source. It's education. So how to simplify the answer to you, it's go to the right source. Earthshade is the company that I'm talking about. We're the people in this whole region that sell Earthshade. and we know a lot about it. You can get all these different types, as I said. So blackout shades, solar shades, privacy shades, even the grass and reed shades. Not all grasses and reeds are healthy. If they're coming in from another country, anything hollow has to be fumigated. So if it's hollow, it's going to be fumigated. Often some very well-known grass shade companies, they've got a finish on them. So you can't have that either.
Gosh, my mind is going in a few different directions with the windows, and I'm actually concerned. I'm so glad we're talking about this right now before I forget. So right next to the drapery, you've got, we did the same thing, tried to block out the light or privacy, is mini blinds, which questionable material there. And then even the double pane windows, the retrofit, which are all made out of vinyl.
Vinyl.
My goodness.
Well, so things that you can do something about, because if you're renting, you can't go and change all your windows. It's tricky changing all your window coverings too. But vinyl mini blinds. This company sells one mini blind that is made of aluminum. You can't get metal mini blinds from any old company because the paint has toxins in it. So he doesn't put, so he uses just aluminum, and they're lovely. They're sort of retro looking. Wooden blinds, you know, yes, wooden blinds, slatted ones. There are only a couple of companies in the country who have gone to the trouble of creating wooden blinds with a special non-toxic finish. The company, we sell a company, it's no good telling you the name of the company because you go online and the people will get confused and they'll buy the wrong ones. There is a very small collection that they've created with non-toxic Osmo finish on it, which is a type of stain. So they can come to us and get the information. So you can't just go out and buy any old wooden blinds thinking, oh, wooden blinds will be better. Wooden shutters. This company that we buy from sells some wooden shutters that are healthy, non-toxic. The rest of them aren't. And they make this clear, you know, they understand. And we have to think about what a huge task it is for a company to completely retool and start again. And they really have to be, say, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to stop making toxic things. I've got young children. I care about my family. I'm going to start making healthy products. So yes, your blackout shades, your mini blinds, well, the window frames, that's tricky. The paint on the walls, well, we haven't even got to that. People, when they're repainting their bedroom or the rest of their house, low VOC is not good enough. 0 VOC is what you want. If it's available, you should be buying it. You want to get the best you can find in terms of, not price, I don't mean that, but in terms of cleanliness. So if it's not yet made, you can't buy it, but you want to get the one that's the best so far. So since there is 0 VOC paint, you want to be buying 0 VOC paint. Carpet, it's the whole thing. We'll have to have another show.
Yeah,
I know. And
like seriously.
And that's why it's so overwhelming for, you know, when you're starting, okay, I want to do the right thing. It's so overwhelming. And we tend to go to Amazon and read Amazon reviews, which is not the same. Because
not the same at all.
Reviewing they're not qualified to understand toxins and the side effects of what this product does. It's just about, it works, it doesn't work. So
exactly.
And that's why I think it's so important to have, you know, people like you that understands the companies that have been researching, that have been talking to them, that have been doing all of this work that possibly a couple or a mother that has all the other things they need to do in life could not do.
Doesn't have time. People get overwhelmed. They get upset, frustrated. They don't know where to turn. Some people get very upset about all this, and it's been a frustrating journey for me because I really want to have little modules of us all over the country so that people can get to us. But it takes time. It all takes a long time. Another very important thing to remind people of is cross-contamination. So I don't know if you've walked into a mattress store and it knocks you over when they sell conventional mattresses. So it's no good going and buying a mattress from a mattress store, a healthy mattress from a mattress store that also has in the showroom conventional mattresses because of cross-contamination. So you have to be very careful about that sort of thing. There are furniture stores who say, oh, but we have some healthy things. Yes, but by the time you buy that healthy thing, all the upholstery is filled with chemicals. You know, you've got to be careful with cross-contamination. You need to focus on, say, start with the bedroom, because that's very important, and the baby's room. And by the way, don't dash out and get wall-to-wall carpet for the baby's room. It might feel nice, but it's not a good idea. Carpet is another big subject. But start with the bedroom and the baby's room. Start with the stuff under your sink, actually, and your laundry products. Then the bedroom and the baby's room, because you spend a third of your life in bed, as we all know now, because so many people have said it. You do need to be rejuvenating your cells. So focus on that. Focus on clearing out your closets. Focus on, because clutter clutters the mind and makes you feel agitated. So the simple things that where you're not spending money, getting rid of stuff, give it to people who really need it. Take it to, can't remember what they're called. I've been here over 30 years and I can't remember the names. But anyway.
Stores.
The resale shop, maybe.
That's it, yeah. So rather than feel overwhelmed, say, okay, I'm going to start here. Focus on that. And then move on to the next one.
Go ahead.
Go on, keep going.
No, it's one of the thoughts I just had was, I know food, for example, there's been a huge movement towards cleaner food, and there's a certification that hopefully we can believe in, the organic certified stuff, which is also confusing, GMO, blah, blah, blah. But do you see anything outside of like private groups like the Environmental Working Group, EWG? Is there some sort of certification maybe that could come out where it's just like, oh, boom, it's got that seal, I know it's good?
Yeah, well, there are certifications. There's, as I say, goals for if something has the goal, it's global organic latex.
Okay.
Forgotten what the S is. And then GOTS is the same for fabric, global organic textiles. But there are more certifications than that. There are others. But what you have to be careful of is companies who create their own certifications. And it looks like a certification, but it's not really. It's just their little thing that they've decided to plonk on. Another thing, there might be a mattress company that purports to sell organic mattresses or create, let's say make organic mattresses, but their certifications aren't up to date. So does that mean that they just haven't been able to afford to update their certifications, or does it mean that, oh, I've gone to a new supplier now because it's cheaper and, it's not certified? And you have to be very careful of things like that. So you have to be vigilant. It's a hobby. It's something that needs to become part of your life. Instead of spending your time doing things that aren't necessarily healthy, spend your time studying this. If you've got a family, if you're suffering from ill health and you want to improve your health, you know that you have to go out and get exercise. You know that you have to eat the right foods. Well, this is another thing you have to do. Make it part of your life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rowena, this interview was so so good, and it really even helped me.
I have so many more questions too.
I know. I feel like we could spend an hour, 2 hours here just talking about just the bedroom itself, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, Rowena, thank you so much for being here with us. And I had one more question, but you were very nice to create a document that you're going to give to our audience that actually will answer that question. And the question was about what should we ask or be aware of when buying furniture?
Yes.
Can you talk to the audience about that gift?
Well, it's so complicated that I sort of get a bit tongue-tied when I'm trying to describe it, and I haven't written this out yet. But what it'll be is, we were talking about furniture when we were talking about this list, but maybe we have to have another one, and people can click on the bedroom document, or they can click on the when they're buying furniture document, or when they're buying floor covering document, something like that. So they can check. Does that sound like a good idea? They can check the box, because otherwise it'll be reams if it's the whole house. So
okay.
Maybe if they're doing one section of the house, they can sign up for the document that talks about that. So it'll be it'll give you the education you need, so you can go in and ask the right questions and then know how they're supposed to answer. You want to know what question to ask and then what answer to be receiving. And there are certain giveaways. If people's eyelashes flutter, when you ask them a question and they start doing this, it means they don't know the answer.
Or they go like, what did you say? Can you repeat that question?
Or
One person thought my shop was full of everything that was colored green once.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny.
But no, I will have these documents. Another thing, we're in the process of creating a new website, which is going to be e-commerce, so people can access us all day and all night if they like. But at the moment, even the website we have a lot of information on there. They just have to keep delving. Along the top, you can see the different areas and resources. They can find a lot of information about buying bedding, buying mattresses, buying furniture, tells them about why our furniture is different. And it's not just soft furnishings, it's shelving, it's tables and chairs, it's kitchen cabinets, and Eric surely knows about this from construction. All the MDF has formaldehyde in it, things like that. So bathroom cabinets. Yes, so we would like to offer as our gift a document, or the different documents that people can sign up for, PDFs that we'll email, I presume. And so you've got your ammunition when you're going shopping.
Perfect. So Rowena, you can find her store in Sausalito, California. You can also, we're going to have a link below the video with the link to her gift, where you can also find her. You're going to be visiting her website. And Rowena, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Yeah. And there's so much information that I hope that our listeners can start implementing today in their lives and seeing the improvement in their family's health.
Yes, I hope so. And we're here to help. That's the whole point of our business, and your business is to help people have healthy homes, and we want to do everything we can to help them. Thank you so much,
yes,
you for having me on the show. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been great fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.